Hello and welcome to Simpson Strong Ties training video, part of the Connector Training for Contractor series. In this series you can learn about specific connector applications such as hangers, fasteners, and mud sill anchors. In this video you will learn how to install the Simpson steel strong wall. After watching this video, you'll be familiar with the basic terms that are often used on job sites to discuss and describe the steel strong wall and its installation. You will learn how to properly use the different templates based on the different foundation types that you are working with. In addition, you will be able to correctly install the steel strong wall in a variety of applications while avoiding some common mistakes. The most common term that you'll hear is steel strong wall. It is a prefabricated metal shear panel designed to resist lateral loads resulting from wind or earthquakes. Another term that will be used in this video is compression nut, which refers to a heavy hex nut that is positioned flush with the top of the concrete or the subfloor and tight to the underside of the steel strong wall above. This nut improves the overall performance of the steel strong wall by transferring compression loads into the all-thread rod. Steel strong wall anchor bolts come in 3/4 and 1-inch diameters, have heavy hex nuts fixed in place, and offer the flexibility to meet specific project demands. The purpose of the SSWAB anchor bolts is to transfer lateral forces from the shear wall to the foundation. This keeps the shear wall from sliding or overturning and anchors it to the foundation. Steel strong wall concrete templates are reusable templates that attach to the form boards. The purpose of the concrete templates is to properly space, hold, and elevate the required anchor bolts. There are 3 basic templates for the steel strong wall. The first is the SSWT, or Steel Strong Wall Standard Template. The second type of template is the SSWTPF, or Panel Form Template. The third type is the SSWTBL, or the template for brick ledge applications. Anchor bolt placement is crucial to the proper installation of any steel strong wall. We have designed several easy-to-use templates to ensure proper anchor bolt alignment. Templates are available for each different wall width. In the following segments, you will learn how to use the concrete templates for the following applications: standard wall, panel form, brick ledge. The installation sequence is fairly similar to each template. The standard template, or SSWT, has the benefit of being reversible and may be used for both interior and exterior wall applications. Start the installation by securing the anchor bolts to the template. The next step is to place the whole assembly on the wood form. Be sure to check that it is in the right location. The third step is to pour the concrete to the top of the compression nut. After the concrete is cured, remove the nails, the nuts, and the reusable template. The SSWT is reversible and may be used for interior wall applications. The SSWTPF is used for panel form applications. SSWTBL is used for brick ledge applications. Now that we've learned how easily it is to install the SSWAB anchor bolts using the 3 different templates, let's move on to installing a steel strong wall. We will now learn about the steel strong wall installation on a concrete foundation. Please keep in mind that it's a specifier or designer's job to specify the type, size, and location of shear wall to use, but it's your job to install it correctly and in the proper location. For your convenience, a hardware kit is included with the steel strong wall. This hardware kit contains all of the nuts and SDS screws that you will need for the installation. To install the steel strong wall, the first step is to place the wall over the anchor bolts. Next, install the nuts that are provided for you in the hardware kit. Please note that a snug, tight fit is required. Use a hand wrench or socket. Do not use an impact wrench. If required, place an additional shim between the steel strong wall and the wall framing top plates. Finally, attach the wall to the top plates with the SDS 1/4 inch by 3.5 inch screws that are provided with the steel strong wall. Here is what the steel strong wall should look like when it is correctly installed. For garage front installations, attach the wall to the header with SDS 1/4 inch by 3.5 inch screws. Notice that there are pre-drilled holes for wiring. Another feature of the steel strong wall is that the wall contains 1/4 inch holes to attach optional blocking. Please note that the steel strong wall may be used in 2x6 wall framing. You would first install the steel strong wall flush to one face of the framing, then you would add furring to the opposite side. Be aware that in all wall applications, it is important you do not cut the wall or enlarge any existing holes. The next installation process that we'll review is for the balloon framing on concrete foundations. A balloon framing application is used when there is a need for walls between 15 and 20 feet. This application connects two steel strong wall panels, one on top of the other. The balloon framing application uses the same anchor bolt template as a single-story installation. Notice that the top wall in the balloon framing application is a standard steel wall. The bottom walls for the balloon framing application need to be ordered with a factory-installed stacked wall option. STK after the model number identifies this option. The basic assembly for the balloon framing application is done on the floor. The connection kit comes with two 1x25 inch threaded rods and 4 heavy hex nuts. Let's now review how to install balloon framing on a concrete foundation. First, pass the threaded rod through the factory-installed tube element on the bottom wall. Next, place a nut in two areas, one below the tube and the second at the underside of the top plate about 3.5 inches from the end of the rod. After installing the nuts in both places, pass the rods through the top of the wall. Connect the upper wall to the bottom wall by fastening nuts onto the rods over the base plate of the upper wall. All nuts should be securely fastened, snug tight before the structure is placed in an upright position. Place the whole assembly over the anchor bolts, adjust the wall as necessary, and then secure with heavy hex nuts. If required, attach a shim block in between the steel strong wall and the double top plates with the SDS 1/4 inch by 3.5 inch. Note that the maximum height of the shim block is 8 inches. Connect the top plates and the shim block on each side of the wall with either LTP4 or A35. Finally, place the minimum two 2x6 full height studs on each side with 10D nails at 16 inch on center. Understand that the designer determines the actual stud or post design based on out-of-plane wind loading. This is what the balloon framing should look like when it is properly installed on a concrete foundation. We will now show you the proper sequence for the two-story stacked installation. The basic components involved in the two-story stacked installation are the STK model wall at the first floor, the standard steel strong wall at the second floor, and the connection kit for the two-story stacked wall application, which includes the following contents. One shear transfer plate sized for a specific wall with number 14 by 3/4 self-drilling screws, two 1x48 inch threaded rods, and 6 heavy hex nuts. To begin the installation process for a two-story stacked wall, first install the bottom wall using the standard wall installation instructions. Drill a 1 1/16 inch maximum diameter hole through the shim and the top plates at the holes in the top of the steel strong wall. This will allow the threaded rod to pass through. Install rim joists and solid blocking the full width of the steel strong wall. Allow space for the threaded rod to go up through the subfloor. Where the floor framing is parallel to the strong wall, install perpendicular blocking in the floor within 6 inches of each end of the steel strong wall. Next, drill a 2-inch hole or a 2-inch by 2-inch notch in the subfloor to allow for compression nuts. Pass the rod all the way up through the tube to the floor system. Install one nut so it will sit on top of the tube and pass the rod back down through the tube. Install a nut at the bottom of the tube and secure it in place. Install compression nuts on each rod flush with the top of the subfloor. Place a second floor wall over the rods. Complete the installation similar to the first floor wall. Install the 2 nuts at the bottom and SDS screws into the top plates. The SSW shear transfer plate is then installed on the outside face using 10D nails in the rim joist and number 14 self-drilling screws in the upper strong wall. Install the specified number of LTP4s from the rim to the double top plates. Finally, install A34 connectors on each side from the SSW stud to the wall sill plate on the top floor. This is what a correctly installed 2-story stacked wall installation will look like when it's completed. The final installation to be demonstrated in this video is that of the first-story wall on a wood floor system. Note that this installation is similar to the upper wall of a 2-story stacked installation. The basic components involved in this installation are the standard steel strong wall and the connection kit for the first floor on a wood floor system application, which includes the following contents: 1 shear transfer plate size for the specific wall with number 14 by 3/4 self-drilling screws, 2 18-inch threaded rods, 2 coupler nuts, and 2 heavy hex nuts. First, install the mud sill over the SSW-AB anchor bolts. Install rim joist and solid blocking the full width of the strong wall above. Allow space for the threaded rod to go down through the subfloor. Next, drill a 2-inch hole or a 2-inch by 2-inch notch in the subfloor to allow for compression nuts. Install a coupler nut onto each anchor bolt. Thread the 18-inch threaded rod into each coupler nut. Install the compression nut on each rod flush with the top of the subfloor. Place the wall over the rods and complete the installation similar to the first floor wall. Install the 2 nuts at the bottom and the SDS screws into the top plates. The SSW shear transfer plate is then installed on the outside face using 10D nails in the rim joist and number 14 self-drilling screws in the upper strong wall. Install the specified number of LTP4s from the rim to the sill plate. Finally, install A34 connectors on each side from the SSW stud to the wall sill plate. This is what a properly completed installation for a first floor wood floor system should resemble. This is an alternate installation for the first floor wood floor system. In this alternative, the strong wall is mounted through the floor directly to the foundation. Now that we have discussed and modeled how to install the steel strong wall in a variety of templates and foundations, we will recap and highlight some important do's and don'ts in working with the steel strong wall to ensure your safety and to preserve effectiveness of the product. In any type of installation process, it is very important that you do not cut the steel strong wall or enlarge its existing holes. Do not use an impact wrench to tighten nuts on the anchor bolts. Use a wrench or socket for a snug, tight fit. Do make sure that the blocking below the wall, which is required for the shear transfer from the rim board to the bottom wall, top plates, or mud sill, is installed correctly. Do pass the electric wires through a pre-drilled holes in the steel strong wall. We covered a lot in this short video about the steel strong wall. You're now familiar with how to properly use each of the templates based on the different foundation types. You also know how to correctly install the steel strong wall in a variety of applications. Finally, you are aware of how to add the steel strong wall into the rest of the structure while avoiding some common mistakes. I hope this video was both enjoyable and educational and that you're able to apply what you learned on the job. Thanks for your interest and attention. Goodbye.